Right, now let's get into a Christmas tradition. Now I've given this before. I've done this before. So some of you listening on the radio and watching on television, you might want to go away for 5 minutes and then come back. But I think it's very instructive. So I wrote a book, Killing Jesus. Okay, massive bestseller all over the world. But it's a history book. It says, all right, a history, Killing Jesus. We do not use the word Christ in the book because that connotes Redeemer. It's a religious connotation. Here's Killing Jesus in Korean. So this book was in every part of the world, including the Muslim part of the world. And people obviously want to know about Jesus, the man. Okay? So Killing Jesus, the book, was made into Killing Jesus, the movie. I was the executive producer. Roll the clip.
Majesty, an alignment of the stars has drawn us here.
These stars, they foretell a great event.
A child, born in your kingdom, is the God of Israel's chosen, the Messiah.
Messiah.
A king of the Davidic line to restore the glory of Israel, as in the prophecy of Isaiah.
Isaiah. Of all the infants born in my kingdom, how will you find this one child destined to be the Messiah?
Knowledge that the day and time of his birth match the position of the stars, and the child will give us a sign.
What a blessing. Yes. Find this child. Send me news that I may come and venerate him. I welcome your holy mission.
Majesty.
Okay, so you can see that on pay-per-view. That's Kelsey Grammer, by the way. And it's a really good primer on Jesus. So why are we talking about this? Well, because Christmas is 5 days, and that's what it's about. The birth of an infant in Bethlehem. And it's all historical. So my co-author and researcher, Martin Dugard, went to Israel. Government of Israel opened up all their records. About that time, we read Josephus and all of that. We got unbelievable stuff. And basically, the story is that Joseph and Mary, all right, had to go to Bethlehem to answer the census from Augustus Caesar, who was occupying most of the world. And he wanted to know how many people were under his occupation so he could tax the various lands. So they had to go. You didn't go, you're in trouble. And there, Jesus was born. Then Herod, Kelsey Grammer, okay, sent his soldiers in to murder the firstborn, any baby that was born within 6 months. Now, some historians dispute that, but it happened. And Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, they moved out before Herod's soldiers got in. And they were mercenary soldiers. Herod was a Jew, but he hired mercenaries because he didn't trust the other Jews because they hated him. All right, so fast forward up to Jesus' adulthood. And he goes and he preaches. And at first there were 15, 20 people. And after a year, there were 2,000, 3,000 people. So how does that happen? Well, you say because of his message, because he was preaching goodwill toward men and charity for all and all of that. People couldn't hear him. Couldn't hear him. He didn't have a microphone. So he would stand on a hill or he'd be out in the Sea of Galilee in a boat. You could see him. Couldn't hear him. And his apostles did spread the word about what he was saying, but you don't get 2,000, 3,000 people showing up where he is unless there's something extraordinary happening. Now, there are no miracles in Killing Jesus. You don't have any miracles because how could we? It's a history, there's no verification. What there was and is the spies following Jesus for the Sanhedrin, the Jewish authorities, and for Pilate, the Romans, sent dispatches back saying, the guy's healing people. And this is what's drawing the crowds. Everybody wants to see it or get healed themselves. That happened. Now, whether those miracles were real or not, you have to decide. It's a matter of faith. But here's the kicker on Jesus and Christmas. So right now in the world, there are 2.5 billion Christians following Jesus, more than any other religion. Islam is about 2 billion, Hinduism about 1 billion, centered in India, of course. Anyway, Jesus of Nazareth, a poor stone cutter. That's what Joseph and Jesus did. They cut stone to build homes. And everybody goes, oh, he's a carpenter. There were no trees, so they cut stone. That's how they built dwellings. Anyway, he comes from a backwater, small town Nazareth. He rises up to become the most famous human being who has ever lived. How does that happen? We're thinking about it in this Christmas season.